What's good, everyone? CapiTanceTV here, and today we're gonna review the brand new and not even released yet game from Ubisoft, Immortals Fenyx Rising. A big thank you to Ubisoft, as this game was provided for free $9.99, and a big thank you to you for watching. I appreciate you. Two things before we begin. One, I am only 16 hours into the game, but I believe I have a very good understanding of the game, and my review will be as honest and as fair as possible. Two, Ubisoft gave me the game for free, and that is in no way, shape, or form going to have any bearing on what I have to say about the game. If I think the game is the best game in the world or ever created, then so be it. They didn't pay me for that. So how this is going to work is we're going to hit on a few main topics. One, the story so far and as spoiler free as possible. Two, the art style of the game. Three, the gameplay mechanics. Four, how does the combat feel? Five, any miscellaneous thoughts that I may have. And six, my overall thoughts on the game and should you buy the game. Now, Immortals Fenyx Rising is a brand new IP from Ubisoft and centers around the Greek gods and goddesses. The story was inspired when the team was doing research for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They loved the mythos so much they wanted to make another game. Well, you can't make another Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so let's just make a brand new IP. And here you have Immortals Fenyx Rising. So you start off as Fenyx, a soldier who isn't really a soldier. She is a shield bearer for a group of soldiers. And the shield bearer isn't like what you think in 300 where they're holding the line. No, a shield bearer is somebody who actually just holds a warrior's shield. She is nothing. Now, while out on a mission, your entire crew becomes shipwrecked and you wash up on a strange, unfamiliar island. And as you explore this island, it turns out your entire crew has been turned to stone. It turns out that Typhon, a titan who was imprisoned under a mountain by Zeus himself, has broken out and now wants payback. He's kicked every god's ass and has turned those pesky mortals into stone, except for you. And it's now up to you, the only human who is not turned to stone, with a little help from the Greek gods who got their ass whooped, to take on Typhon. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is not the most riveting story, but it is serviceable and it gives you what you need. It gives you a little bit of mystery and intrigue. Why am I the only one not turned to stone? It gives you a little bit of motivation. I need to turn everyone who turned to stone back. It gives you a clear enemy. Typhon, we need to whoop your ass. And when it comes to video games, that's really all you need. It's the gameplay that shines. As long as there is a cohesive storyline behind it, a-okay. And personally, for me, that is okay. Because I find when games focus on story too much, they either become this convoluted mess or a walking narrative. I'm here to play video games, not look at a representation of our society in a game. I want from A to B, a little razzle dazzle of a plot twist, and then to C. And so far, Immortals Fenyx Rising has delivered on that. I even got a little bit of the razzle dazzle last night. All right, next up, we're going to talk about the art style. And when it comes to video games, they are a very visual medium. So there's no one way to do it. Look at Breath of the Wild and look at Gears of War. It's just that you have to nail it. Also, one thing I'll say to the developers is just because Nintendo did it and it worked, doesn't mean you should. Nintendo is his own beast. And so with Immortals Fenyx Rising, they went for the non-hyper-realism route. Nothing wrong with that. However, the characters look a bit generic and they have no soul in their eyes. The character animations and models all leave something to be desired. It's all very generic and reminds me of Build-A-Bear. Like, hey, I can swap out this hair, I can swap out this beard, here's a generic female body, here's a generic male body. And it's truly noticeable the first time you see Hermes and Fenyx standing together very early on in the game. They look like twins. And the same could be said for enemy models as well, where you'll come across a new enemy and then later in the game it'll be the same enemy with different attacks or different powers, Destiny 2, and it's like, why didn't you just make a different model? I will say though that the overall environment of the game, like the buildings, the trees, the mountains, the statues, all looks great though, especially when you're looking afar and up close. It's a world I can definitely see myself getting lost in and playing quite a bit just because of how beautiful it looks. And I've only been to 2 different regions so far, but there's enough of a difference where I feel like I'm in a different world when I cross between the two. And it's a shame that those character models don't give off the same feeling, because I feel like a lot of people are going to dismiss the game just looking at the characters and go, oh, it looks like Fortnite. Immortals Fenyx Rising is an open world action adventure game. And let me tell you, the map is pretty big. And what's going to determine your gameplay experience is how you can traverse that land, the abilities you acquire while playing the game, the enemies you encounter, and the little secrets and Easter eggs, and not to mention any dungeons that you may come across while traveling the land. And I'm here to say, surprisingly, Immortals Fenyx Rising does all of this pretty well. You can climb and glide just about anywhere on the map, and eventually you get abilities that help you go even farther and higher. You only get 3 main weapons, a sword, a bow, and an axe, but you get different variations of all 3 of those that you can tailor to your gameplay style. And then you get a bevy of abilities and upgrades, and I highly recommend getting Hephaestus' hammer early. Though there are puzzles and challenges laid out galore across this map, and they're all pretty fun and interesting. And I haven't had any problems except for one, and I think I'm missing an ability. I'm going to get that ability and go back to it and see. But other than that, they're pretty easy to solve. The one tip I will say is look around for clues, because I brute force a lot of these puzzles, just trial and error. And I come to find out that I just looked up to the left or looked to the right or went back this way. There was the answer sitting right in front of me. Also laid out around the map are dungeons, aka caves or Tartarus, and I highly recommend doing these caves because they give you upgrade materials for your health and your stamina, as well as other little items too that can be very useful. So when you combine all those things together, you get a pretty enjoyable gameplay experience. Now moving on to the combat portion of the video. I think the combat is fair and balanced. There are some weird power spikes here and there, but for all in all, I think you're going to have an enjoyable experience. And this is coming from somebody who had a very initial frustrating experience with the combat in Immortals Fenyx Rising. And I wasn't sure what was going on. It's like, okay, maybe I'm just new to the game, but then as the game progressed, I was still having these frustrations, and turns out I'm no good when the attack button is the right shoulder button. So when I moved that to a button on the faceplate, I was good to go. And so maybe that'll help you too. If I remember correctly, having the right shoulder button as the attack button is a very Dark Souls thing to do. I didn't like it then, and I still don't like it now. Getting over my hatred of a right shoulder button as the attack button, combat is really fluid in Immortals Fenyx Rising. You can get in and out whether you're fighting a large group of people or a large enemy. There's a wide variety of attacks and abilities that you can chain together to make combos, to stun enemies, to block attacks, to dodge attacks, and do increased damage. I think a big testament to how good the combat actually is I found myself seeking fights instead of avoiding them. Now, sometimes I did avoid them because I was low on materials or really just wanted to get to my point. But when I was like, hey, I ain't got nothing else to do, let's go kill that whole group of people over there. I don't have multiple miscellaneous thoughts. In fact, I only have one miscellaneous thought, and it's something that's pretty large and pretty unavoidable. Immortals Fenyx Rising resembles Zelda Breath of the Wild in so many ways. My memory's a little fuzzy because I haven't played Breath of the Wild since 2017, but it would be easier to count the differences than the similarities in those games. The only thing that it's missing is what people deem to be the worst part of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that's the durable items and things breaking on you upon attacking. So good job on Ubisoft saying, hey, if we're gonna clone Breath of the Wild, let's not add that piece. And now for the final piece. Should you or should you not buy this game? I don't know if I can tell you if you can buy this game or not, because it really is a Zelda clone. And why would you play this game when you can play the superior product in Zelda? But I don't know if it's a bad thing, because I find myself wanting to come back and play this game. I am 16 hours into the game at the recording of this video, and after I'm done with this review, I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish this game because I'm really enjoying my experience with the game and I really want to see where the story goes. Now, it's easy for me because I got the game for free. As you, the consumer, you're going to have to part with some of your hard-earned money. And I don't know if I can tell you in good conscience to do that. You can tell that the developers put a lot of hard work and effort into the game because, again, it's an enjoyable experience. It's just that I've played this before. Now, The same thing could be said about Call of Duty or any other fighting game on the market. You've played fighting games, you play shooting games, so why play something else? All in all, I think it's an enjoyable experience, and if you've been looking for something to scratch that Zelda itch, Immortals Fenyx Rising is it. And there you have it. There's my review of Immortals Fenyx Rising. I hope this helps with your decision to either play or not play this game. I want to say thank you to Ubisoft for providing the game for free, and thank you to you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, be sure to like the video and subscribe, as it helps the channel out so much. Until next time, I'm CapiTanceTV. Deuces!